And with Madam Ruth, you can be assured that we'll get the information we are looking for. Let me usher in the next panelist, that is Jerry Kenyajui from Bigwa Services. Madam Jerry, karibu sana. Madam Jerry, wherever she is, let her join us so as we can start our panel or our plenary. Madam Jerry, someone to organize for us that one. Let me call the next panelist, that is Madam Elizabeth from SDDA. Welcome, Madam. Get to the panel so as we can start this great discussion. Let me also welcome Madam Monica Mwema, PLA. Welcome, Madam. Kaidre, and I request you to take the seat next to our panelists from SDDA. I also call upon Madam, Mr. Rafael Wawero from Kenya National Chamber of Commerce. I hope is allowed. And I will request you now, you take the seat next to our officer from National Youth Service so as we can move. And now I want to request members that I take it to Madam Ruth, who will be the panelist controller in the next 1 hour. Welcome all and enjoy the discussion.
Good morning, our participants. Moriaro, karibuni sana Embu. Welcome to our panel discussion today. It's a pleasure to be your moderator. I'll try not to be boring. Nitajaribu kidogo, nitajanganya lugha za Embu. Nitajaribu kidogo niwezavyo. Asanteni. Our topic of discussion today is about post-arrival. How do we manage? Sasa ushafika kule majuu. Tutaguza kidogo jinsi ya kufika, lakini sana sana tutakuwa tunaangalia umefika kule nje. I mean, what happens? What do you do? What are you likely to find? And what role will my well-represented panelists be able to assist as part of stakeholders in the labor mobility? So I'll call upon all of them to introduce themselves shortly, saying their names kidogo sana, a few seconds, 30 seconds. Asanteni.
Thank you. Amjambo. My name is Samson Kiptum. I'm Head of Employment Liaison, National Youth Service.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rafael Wawero. I'm a board director of Kenya National Chambers of Commerce, and I also represent persons with disability in the board of the same institution. And I'm happy to be here.
Good morning. My name is Irene Muraguri from the Ministry of Labor.
Good morning. My name is Elizabeth Mganga from State Department for Diaspora Affairs.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Monica Mwema. I'm a recruiter and the Secretary General of an association of recruiters called ASMAC. It's right there. Thank you, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much, my dear panelists. It's a pleasure to be here this morning. It's a pleasure to be here this morning, and I'm going to start with Mr. Kiptum, who is just next to me. And Mr. Kiptum, I want to ask you one question. I mean, I have come here today and youth, as a Mount Kenya East youth. What does NYS do in labor migration?
Thank you, Ruth. First, I think it will be very important if I introduce NYS briefly, so that there is the point where we'll now talk about labor migration and the role we play, especially at employment liaison. So National Youth Service was established in 1964, and the founders were addressing the challenges faced by the Kenyan youth, which was mainly, you remember we had a problem with education, health, and actually literacy was actually one of the greatest challenges that we faced during independence. So the Kenyan youth also facing the same challenges, and those coming from humble backgrounds. Our founders founded NYS to address the challenges faced by the youth. Since the inception of NYS, we have done a lot of recruitments which are aimed at equipping the Kenyan youth with skills. Skills on vocational training, technical, and we release them out as highly trained, disciplined young people who are able now to build this nation. We have pillars that we undertake this program. The pillar number 1 is paramilitary training and service regimentation. At that, we are taking you from the village, as green as you are, to Gilgil for paramilitary training. And we regiment you in the regimentation numbers of the service. In Gilgil, we will convert you to somebody who is committed to work. Commitment to service and discipline is actually going to be imparted through our programs in Gilgil. From Gilgil, we will go to the second pillar, which is national service and youth resocialization. This program aims at offering the youth with hands-on skills. We will post you to Garissa, Mombasa, Western, where you will be engaged in activities of national importance. From there, we'll take you to vocational training, where now we'll give you your technical skills ready for the job market. Now the job market is where now we get in. With employment liaison, our graduates are linked to employment within and without. There is the internal and the external. Then migrant workers now is what we deal with when our graduates are seeking employment. And we want to appreciate the work done by State Department for Diaspora Affairs, looking opportunities for young Kenyans and making them available, for example, to the people in this area where we are today. And we will be here now to explain to you. From yesterday, you've been told the process of how to get a passport, the required documents, and then there are agencies here who will recruit you. Then from there, you will fly. We will zero in now in when you go to those countries, what happens later on. So NYS will therefore be addressing the needs of their graduates and linking them to jobs in Kenya and abroad.
Thank you so much, Bwana Kiptum. We now go to National Chamber of Commerce, and kindly, in like 2 minutes, 1.5 minutes, please tell us what you do.
Thank you very much, Ruth. Kenya National Chambers is a non-profit organization registered in Kenya to represent business entities. It was founded 60 years ago, and we have chapters, 47 chapters that are represented all over in terms of like the way we have the national government, the 47 counties. Ours is 47 chapters. Our main role is to provide advocacy, promote business social enhancement, so that all our businesses that are business people who are here, they're able to be connected with opportunities that are emerging and existing, so that we are able to make sure that all our business entities that are registered with us are able to get even playing advantage of where they are able to integrate and do more business, because as we are able to enhance issues about economy of scale, we are able to go there and network with other chapters all over the world, because we're in partnership with 177 countries, national chambers of commerce, and that's the role we do mostly of promoting advocacy and also enhancing that all businesses that are registered and are registered with us are able to do business with integrity. That's why we are in partnership with the ASMAC and Calpea, so that we enhance that, because we can't work with all of them at the same time. We work with them through the association to enhance that they are doing business in one business that has social standing that are reputable, because we believe all the businesses that are registered in Kenya, they have a role to play in enhancing business growth. And of course, we're also happy that we are working with other institutions like NYS, where we facilitate trainings, linkages with them, and then we link them with the registered association. In this regard, the PRAs that are here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Kindly allow me to pass and go to Monisa. And Monisa, I have a question for you. As one of the private recruitment agencies in Kenya, what role do PRAs play in terms of, shortly you can touch on pre-departure and then you touch on post-arrival. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Ruth. So PRA are the private recruitment agencies who we are licensed by the government through the Ministry of Labor and through the ministry, their authority, that is National Employment Authority. As youths that are here, you can now go into NEA's portal. Their stand is there, their booth, and you can get to know who is a legit agent. Some of our members are on the booths on the other end, so you can visit us, and you have a chance now, not just to go calling everybody in the village or in town who is recruiting an agent. Now you can be able to know who is a real agent. We also work very closely with the State Department of Diaspora. When we get the orders, that is, as a recruiter, if I get a company, let's say like in Qatar, that wants security guards, I am supposed to take that demand, now the order, to my embassy in Doha, and the embassy through the Ministry of Diaspora, who we are very happy for this engagement and working with us, they are able to authenticate that demand. The embassy is able even to visit the office or your place of work where you'll be going to go to work, check even on your accommodation, check on where you'll be working, where you'll be eating, all the requirements, as they say, met. That is now where we are working with very close collaboration with the State Department of Diaspora, so that when you, as a migrant worker, Kenyan youth who is coming to me to place you to that job, that demand is already authenticated. And it is also your responsibility as a youth or a migrant worker to check and even ask me. And you can even walk to the offices of Diaspora and they'll call. That is the collaboration we are working with our government through the State Department of Diaspora to make sure that those jobs are real and they are okay. So the agents that you'll be seeing here, please feel free to work with them. And we also make it, you can go to our website in ASMAC and you'll get to know who are the real agents.
Thank you. Thank you. Nisa, now go to, and Madam, I have a question for you on, we've already, tumepata kazi za majuu, tumefika. What are some of our rights? What are some of the rights of migrant workers? What are we entitled to, even as we move to Qatar, as we move to Oman, Saudi Arabia, Germany, and the like? Asante.
Thank you very much for that question. First of all, I'll start a little bit behind by talking about how we prepare these people so that when they land there, they are actually ready for the job. And the first thing that we usually do is to make sure that the bilateral labor agreement negotiates the rights of those people that are going out of this country. Now, that is very, very important because we know that we have the country of origin, which is Kenya, and we have the the countries of destinations, which is actually the country that the person is going with. The BLA is between the two countries, and we look at the rights that must be given to our persons outside there, which is very important. The second thing that we do for that person to land there and work very, very comfortably is by giving them proper training. Now, proper training involves the culture. We actually tell them about the culture of the place that these people are going to. What are you going to find there? If you are going to Saudi, what exactly are you going to find in Saudi, and that kind of thing. We also look at the employer-employee relationship, which is very important. When you land there, how are you going to carry yourself? How are you going to make sure that the relations between you and your employer is actually good, so that you can be able to work? Within the same block of training, we also have what we call financial management. What are you going to do with your finances? How are you going to remit your finances back home? Are you supposed to, who is supposed to take care of your, where you are going to put your money, and how it is going to come back to Kenya to help your people, or for you to save that particular money? And how are you going to use that money is also important. We also have what we call a contract. Now, the contract has everything that you're actually supposed to go and do out there. It has your rights. It tells you what you're actually going to find out there. We are talking about how much are you going to earn out there, what is your accommodation rights, what are your health rights, what are your leave days and also holiday rights, and all that kind of thing. So when you go there, you actually know exactly what you're going to find out there, and you know your rights, so that if you are told to sleep on the floor in the corridors, you know that you're actually supposed to get good accommodation. So that helps the people when they land out there, so that they actually know exactly what they are supposed to do. We also teach what we call basic language. The basic language is, if you are going to a place and you do not know the language, as we are training you, we actually give you some basic language, so that you are not completely left out. You will not be perfect in it, but at least you will know, what is this person asking me to do? How do I say hi in the morning? How am I going to ask for water, and that kind of thing, so that when you get out there, you know exactly what is going to happen. Now, we also have what we call attestation that we do before the person leaves, and this gives us an assurance that the documents that you're carrying are genuine documents, and at the same time, they are going to assist you abroad, so that you do not go there and find that you actually got documents which are not genuine. We also have out there labor attaches, missions. We also have the embassies. We also have the consulars who actually assist you in your job out there, so that whenever you get any problems, you can be able to reach to them. We also have what we call the NEA website, which reports distress, and our sponsors here, the Diaspora Affairs, they have a very good mechanism for reporting distress cases, which is actually very good, because we actually work with them very closely to make sure that all the distress cases are reported. We have a direct toll-free line with NEA, whereby if you get any distress, you call immediately, and the line is always 24/7 open. And lastly, we have what we call the return and reintegration program. This helps when you come back from abroad, or when you want to return. We will actually have made arrangements for you to return, and at the same time, we will have an integration program, here in Kenya, whereby you will come and fit directly, or you'll fit back into your society without any issues. You know, when you go out there, you stay for too long, you come back, and you find things are actually strange. Your mind has already been changed, and especially because of what you have gone through there. When you come back, you need reintegration, which we actually have programs for.
I will still come back to you. Mimi nimesikia umesema BLA. Mimi sijui BLA ni nini. Unaweza tu briefly, what is a BLA? Na bado utuambie, what are the rights of these migrant workers? Mimi nimetoka, nimeenda kule Gulf nation. What are some of my rights? What rights do I have? So that you just touch on the rights, then before I go to Elizabeth.
Okay, thank you. When you talk about bilateral agreements, we are talking about agreements on the rights of the worker. What are the rights of the worker as concerns the country of destination and country of origin? What are we are sending our workers out. What are the rights that they are going to enjoy out there? Now, some of the rights are they're supposed to get a salary. They're supposed to get accommodation. They are supposed to get, or they are supposed to be told about where they are going to be banking their money. And they also talk about leave days. We talk about when are they going to be off, and any other thing that is within the contract. At the same time, we also teach them a bit about the legal framework. How are they supposed to behave when their rights are actually infringed? So all those are actually things that we talk to them about, and once they go there, they are able to know exactly how to go about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Irene. I'll now go to Elizabeth. And Elizabeth, I have two questions in one. Please don't take a lot of time. Mimi nimefika majuu, nimekuja Embu Fair, nimekuja Mount Kenya East Fair, nimepata kazi. I've arrived in Qatar today. What should I do once I arrive in this foreign country? Asante.
Thank you, Madam Ruth, for that. I think I want to copy my colleagues and briefly introduce what State Department for Diaspora Affairs is. The State Department for Diaspora Affairs was established via Executive Order Number 1 of 2022, giving us a 6-point mandate, which was revised through Executive Order Number 2 of 2023, giving us a 9-point mandate. Among some of our mandates, so that you understand why we are here today, is we are charged with collaborating with the Ministry of Labor towards the actualization of what we call a global labor strategy, to ensure that we have sourced for jobs and placed our Kenyan youth according to their levels of skills and expertise in areas where we can benefit both individually and as a country. In the State Department for Diaspora Affairs, we have several divisions. I will speak on the one that touches directly on the question that Madam Ruth has asked me to address. We have the Welfare and Rights Division that directly speaks to our core mandate, that is championing and protection of the rights and welfare of the Kenyan diaspora abroad. They take care, they look after each other, they normally meet. You know, sometimes when you are away from home, you get homesick. So a role that diaspora associations play is that it just gives you a feeling or a sense of home as much as you are in a foreign country. Sometimes we have issues of distress and Kenyans do not know how to get assistance. These diaspora associations are a good point of contact to get clearer direction on how to handle matters of distress. Then we also advise that Kenyans also take advantage, especially if you are outbound. Our offices are open, our emails are open. You can always reach out to have a bit of information imparted to yourselves on just how to handle yourselves once you're out there. We do that again in collaboration with the Ministry of Labor. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Elizabeth, you talked about mimi nimefika majuu, mimi nijipeleke pale kwa umbalozi, niende nikajisajilishe. But there are some places where Kenya is not represented. So what do I do in such a case?
Thank you again. We do have areas that, for one reason or another, we do not have representation. We take advantage of institutions we refer to as Friends of Kenya. Friends of Kenya are organizations such as the International Organization for Migration, IOM. We also sometimes take advantage of UN in countries where the UN is visible. So if you have any issue and you come across an IOM office or a UN office, you can comfortably walk in, identify yourself as a Kenyan, and request that you are in distress and you need to be assisted to get back home. These organizations, through our own networks, will contact embassies in what we call areas of accreditation. For example, in a region like Lebanon is accredited to Kuwait, so even if you reach out to an IOM office, the IOM office will reach out to
Organization for Migration iko kwa nchi zote ulimwenguni. So in case you find yourself there and there is no Kenyan embassy, you can contact International Organization for Migration. You can also go to any of our East Africa country embassies. Ukipata pale kuna Tanzania, pale kuna Uganda, pale kuna Rwanda, all the East Africa countries, please go there, you'll get assistance too. Asante sana kwa hayo. I'm coming back to you, Bwana Kiptum, because I'm looking at the bottom-up economic model, the Kenya Kwanza. That we don't have, for example, things to do with when I go to Europe, I need to be able to drive on the wrong side. So I need to drive on the other side of the road, the right side. So courses labda tunaona tunatakikana na inahitajika mojawapo ya vyeti vya kusafiri nje. What should we do? Is there a way you can help mayouth wetu hapa waweze kuja kwenu na wapate zile skills wanazozihitaji? Asante.
Thank you for that question. You know, as a youth from the age of 18 to 24, you can actually choose to come to NYS. The recruitment is moving from just zeroing in on our askaris, because we are commercializing, and there is a discussion already where we will be inviting now the general public to come and get skills. Before we have an telecommunication. We also offer at Nairobi Institute, NYS Engineering Institute at Mathare. We have the business courses at NYS Institute of Business Studies. We have social studies at Naivasha. In Mombasa, we are also offering building and construction, and very soon we'll also be doing that in Adrifa. So NYS will offer, apart from courses like in medical, but initially we have taken a very small number of NYS graduates to KMTC to do the KMTC courses. Apart from kuendesha ndege, other courses in NYS actually are being offered.
Thank you so much, Bwana Kiptum. I now go to my colleague from Labor, and you've just told us that we can report distress through NEA website. I know that is one way, but maybe you could tell us more. What are the grievances reporting mechanism? For example, hapa tumekuja, some of us are going to enter into some agreements, some negotiations with the PRAs. Assuming I start this process, and in between ni kama mambo iendi vizuri, could be between me and my recruiter, could be between me as a worker, as a youth here, and my employer out there. What are some of these? What are these mechanisms that we should report? I mean, how do you come in and assist me kama mwana youth kuhakikisha ya kwamba sijanyanyasika na rights zangu zimekuwa protected? Asante.
Thank you. Question. The Ministry of Labor through NEA, that is the National Employment Authority, has a direct line, as I had earlier mentioned, and a direct line which is toll-free, and any kind of distress is welcome to be reported in that on that line. We also have, within the NEA website, we also have a form that if you are distressed, you can go into that form. And when you go to that form, which is readily available, you fill the form, or you can have your persons in Kenya fill the form, and that one will actually get directly to us. We also have agencies which are within those particular countries of destination, who are actually working with the agencies this side, because we usually have two agencies. In the contract, the agency is actually very well articulated there, such that they actually have the number of the person and where they can be able, how they can be able to get to them. So that is also another way we can report distress. The person distress can call the agency directly. We also have the Diaspora, which we work with very closely, where you can also report distress cases. We also have our own emails, where you can also report distress cases. We also have the people that we have placed out there. We have the commissions, we have the consular and the embassies, and we also have the attaches, who can also assist us in making sure that the distress cases are reported. Thank you.
Asante sana. Moving on, I wish to ask Elizabeth. So Elizabeth, here I am. We've arrived. We are moving from Kenya. Tumefika majuu sasa sisi. So there we are, and then we find that I've lost my documents. I mean, I might pick a taxi from the airport to my place of, even before reporting anywhere, and I lose my documents. Or maybe my baggage is delayed or something, and then here I am. Maybe I was supposed to come with my original documents that I might have packed, or even lose my passport. What should I do?
Thank you for that question. In the case of lost documents or expired documents, as Madam Irina said, we have the presence of labor attaches in our missions. We also have immigration attaches. Immigration attaches are officers from the State Department for Immigration Services, and once you reach out to our embassies, they're able to guide on the process towards the replacement of your documentation.
Thank you so much. And I have a question for Monisa. That is Asmak, or I will be calling you Asmak. So Monica, so I find myself in a country, I'll put myself in a country like Oman, or even in Germany. I got a contract to go to Germany, but I'm not able to cope. So I realized this within the first 3 months, for example. What do I do? How will you help me as my recruiter? I'm in Germany, I'm not able to cope with this job. Or my employer is really not the best person. Or the work that I was expecting is different from what I've gotten. So how do you come in?
Now, like Madam Irene from the Ministry of Labor has explained, you have your contract, and your contract has rights. And those rights includes you working in a decent and favorable environment until you finish your contract. But you arrive there and you find what had been told is not what it is. You have a right to refuse work, you have a right to breach your contract, and you reach all what my colleagues here have explained, our missions abroad, and also you reach me as your agent and you explain. And one of those rights that Madam Irene from Labor was talking about is also your right of communication. Nobody has a right to confiscate your documents or even your funds such that you can't reach even your agent. And you will only enjoy all those rights if you go the right way, if you go through the right channel, because all these people, including myself as an agent who am registered, I work under the structures that have been put in place. So you can breach your contract and you can come home. And when we are registered as agents, there is an insurance bond that it is mandatory for us to have, so that in case of repatriation, that insurance board can come in place and even assist your repatriation back home. So do not be afraid that someone will be forcing you to work under conditions that are not favorable, or being shortchanged on your salaries, or even job. You live here, you are a security guard, you get there, you are a cleaner. You have a right to say no. And you have a right before you leave this country to make sure you have your contract. Read it before you even board that plane. No agent has a right to hold your documents until to the point of exit where you don't even know what your contract says. Ask for it. Get a copy. Go home, read it, agree. So don't just go signing with anybody on the street. Walk into the agency's office. Every registered agent has an office, has a location. Don't go signing contracts in hotels or signing contracts in some funny places. So if your rights are breached or they are not as it is your right to say no, and your agent to assist you through all these state departments represented here.
Thank you so much, Madam Monica. On the same, I'm just trying to imagine that as Kenyans, we are really resilient. I've been looking for a job, I got it, and here I am. Times are really not good, but I'm trying to imagine that maybe I can still hold on and wait and see whether my employer might change or my talent might change. I mean, what advice would you give me? Because is there a period that I can stay until when I start complaining it is not like considered, or what are the rules governing a period that I should say I'm not comfortable?
Most contracts have probational period. So when you read it, you will know what is your probation period. But still, don't assume that because I have a probational period or I'm in a contract, nitavumilia hapa mpaka niumie. So what we advise our migrant workers is, please, you have gone for work. Hujaenda kuvumilia mashida because kwenu kuna shida. Speak out. Whether it is the first day, whether it is after 6 months, or even it is 2 days to your contract ending. Speak out. So the advice I would give youths and people who are out there and those that are planning to go. Don't keep quiet kuvumilia mashida kwa sababu kwetu kuna shida, or because now nobody is helping me, I want to run away. But they don't run away. Don't. Because the minute you do, you have breached your contract. And even when you go out there, you become an illegal immigrant. And some of the rights that are being spoken out here, it will also become hard for you to be assisted. So go when you have your phone, you understand your contract, you know where our missions are. We live in the 21st century. If you are going to Saudi Arabia, Google. There are top free lines. There, you will know where our missions are. You can even get into a taxi and tell the taxi man, get me to my embassy, or get me to that IOM office, or even take me to the nearby police station. So what I would advise migrant workers, in the event of distress and you're in a state where maybe you've even left your phone, if you get a police officer or someone who can assist you when you are out there now, you are trying to get help, tell them always, get me to my embassy or to police station, the nearest police station, or to an IOM office. And before you leave, please, you are young, it is 21st century. You have a phone that you can Google and even send a pin and know where you are. So take upon that as your own also personal responsibility to take care of yourself, so that in the event of a distress, you can get help as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I come back to Chamber. In Chamber, because we are all implementing better agenda. So what role are you doing to ensure implementation of bottom-up economic model, and especially in terms of labor migration?
Thank you very much. In support of the better government program that it has of the bottom-up, one of the things we have done, like I said earlier, we are not a profit-making institution, so we don't do business directly. What we do, we indulge with our members. And in this case of the labor, how are we going to make sure that it's sustainable and is improved? One of the things we do, we always organize for trade fairs with other friendly nations that we have. We make MOUs and bilateral agreements that are channeled to our associations, and the benefits that are derived from it are enjoyed by our members who are in association. Because what we believe for us is to support the business entities and the private recruiters who are doing it. We acknowledge they are key players. They are key players because that's why they have been registered, as we have heard from the NEA. They have gone through the whole process of regularization. So for us is to make sure that they get the best business opportunities, and of course also to leverage where, because we also know when the PRAs goes out there, they do business, they normally also get conned by other conmen from other countries. And they end up, maybe sometimes you get them, their names getting messed, which is not their fault. It's other people's doing out there. So we make sure that once those complaints are brought to us, taken up, we communicate with the relevant chamber authority of that country. We tell them one of your companies listed ABCD did business with our Kenyan company, and they duped them their money, or they conned them, or they have been accused of misusing the immigrants who have been channeled to them. Then the other thing is also we ensure that we get information, data information from the PRAs who are through the umbrellas of the association, the CAPEA, ASMAC, and other registered. So that once we get them, we are able to channel those information to the government arms, either to the Diaspora docket or to the State Department of Labor or also to the NEA, because one of the qualifications for you to do business out there, you must have certificate of origin. And the government, through the Ministry of Commerce and Trade, has put it into it that for you to do business out there, that certificate of origin must come from the Kenya National Chambers of Commerce. So we make sure all our registered members are protected. And also the business opportunities that are emerging, we are able to bring them on board. And also we appreciate that these trade fairs like that we have currently here are one of the forums that brings is driving demand. So that like now what we have seen here, us as the National Chambers of Commerce, we are going to sit down, because I think tomorrow our chamber president will be coming here. The demand that is going to be seen from here is able to sit down with the Ministry of Diaspora and the relevant associations, so that we bring exhibitions and trade fairs, even organize trade fairs outside there, so that our young men are able to get jobs, and that will improve the economy and also create demand and also improve our GDP, because we know the highest income generator of our economy comes from the foreign exchange, and foreign exchange is earned through the labor that we are taking there. But of course, what we are going to do is to ensure that we protect our businesses which are doing those labor recruiting. Because without protecting them, they will not be doing good business.
Thank you so much, Bwana Raphael. You understand that when you get a job maju, kazi maju, you are working in the industries. So it is through the chambers, the various chambers of industries in those countries. So that linkage is important. Thank you so much. So I'll go to the Ministry of Labor. And I know here we have a question, all of us. And we are asking, are there chances for accessing these jobs? I mean, these youths here, they want to know. They've been asking me out there, are there chances to access the fair labor jobs? So I'll give it to you, Madam Irene, and I would also wish Monisa to comment.
Thank you so much. We have been actually talking about it, and we've also got a lot of questions on the same. We realize that these are private recruiters, and each and every person run their business in their own way, depending on their requirements, on what they do for the person that requires to do that. So mostly it is the recruiters who actually determine their charges, and the government so far is trying to see what they can be able to do to regulate that, which is actually something that is not very easy for us. But the recruiters are actually the persons who would do that. And at the same time, we also have the associations. And those associations are the ones that will actually maybe comment on that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Briefly, 1 minute. I need to give them, they have questions. I can see their hands up.
Okay, about charges. Yes, there are some jobs that you'll be asked to pay, and there are others that you will not be asked to pay. Now, for those that you are asked to pay, why? Here now we need to have a really serious conversations with ourselves as Kenyans. There are companies that will pay for everything for a Kenyan to travel out there. Let's say, for instance, Germany, because that is the international standard. A migrant worker, if he is being charged, at least it should not exceed 1 month's salary. That is the international standard by the ILO, the International Labour Organization. But we have scenarios where I take you to Germany, it is a Schengen visa. That is a regional visa, which means maybe that visa you can access Spain, Norway, Finland with it. And as a Kenyan, you have your uncle who is in Finland, but here you are in Germany, and he tells you there is a better opportunity here. So, wewe fika Germany, fanya kazi miezi mbili, chukua train kuja Finland. There is an employer who spent over 3,000 euros to bring you here. Is it fair? And you go, you abscond duty, and that person now gets a loss because they are also in business of bringing you there to be able to work for them. So we have instances where the employer says, no, I will not pay a dime. Why? I have had Kenyans come here and they abscond duty and I am making losses. So you bring your people here, I will compensate, I will refund them back, or I just need them to come here and work. But I'm glad now, through this collaboration of us as private entities and our government, we are even having situations where we are going to have you workers bonded, that you are a Kenyan. If you run away, there'll be consequences. So please, let's protect our name that way. Because if I am known as my workers will not run away and give the employer losses, I will not be told, let them pay for themselves. The employer will be so comfortable to pay everything for you until to your workstations. So when you'll see an agent asking for money, just try to understand why. And in that aspect, we are also having collaborations with entities like Youth Fund, where they can grant you some finances, but it is a loan you go and pay. There are also banks that do that. Na pia wa Kenya tukienda tafadhali tulipe pesa. Because we have some of you, you go, you got a loan, you bought your ticket, you are there, you are working, you are making a living. Na unasahau ulikuwa na loan. So the Youth Fund will come knocking to my door as an agent. Hey Monisa, you gave us these people and you told us they will pay. Now I'll start calling your employer. And what will our employer tell me? I told you I just want them here. How they get here? I don't want to know. So here is where I will urge us as Kenyans, please let's protect our name so that will also make work easy for others who want also to come there.
Thank you.
So,
thank you, Monica.
Happens.
Thank you for that clarification. And wenzangu, as you are hearing, so they're saying it's not more than a month's salary. So you need to check. If you are going to Katalwe, you'll be getting like 41,000 Kenyan shillings. So that means maybe the amount of money that you might pay if they are being charged would be around the same 1 month's salary. And the other question that I will come and talk about is to you, Irene. What happens? For example, I've gone through the process, I've been onboarded by pre-arrays, but I find myself there. I've seen some people who are taken, for example, to Canada, and they had been promised jobs, but they were sleeping on the streets. So is there a way I could recover my money when I come back, or how does the government ensure that we are able to really look into that issue? Somebody got your money, somebody took you somewhere, there's really no contract, and I really have to come back. I sold my land, and I need to recover that money. So what is the government doing about that?
Okay, the government is encouraging people to go through the right channels, because most of those people who go out there without the right process are actually the people who go there to suffer. So what happens is that we encourage everybody who wants to go out there to go through the right process, go with an agent that can be traceable, make sure that you have registered your name within the government records, so that you are known that you are in a certain place, so that you can be able to work properly. You also are required to have a proper contract of the job that you're going to do and where you are going, so that you can also enjoy the rights of wherever you're going to go. Now, without all that, there is no way that the government will know where you are or what you are doing. Eventually, what happens is that you land into the hands of the government there, and in their best interest, they repatriate you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. One last one to my colleagues, colleague Elizabeth. Elizabeth, I have not communicated with my family. Niko Maju. I'm not in touch with my family for some time. So what should my relatives do? They are back here in Nairobi or back here in Embu, kule Kivote, and they can't get hold of me, and I went out to work. What should I do? Possibly you could also talk about in those instances also of mistreatment, we've heard that there are channels of reporting what diaspora do, what is the role of diaspora to do in terms of mistreatment or loss of jobs or distress issues out there.
Thank you for that question, Madam Ruth. So first of all, I want to circle back to the question that you had also asked Madam Irene here. In the application of these jobs, every Kenyan is charged with the task of being diligent with their information that they are giving out there. For example, in every visa application process, kindly ensure, number one, that the correct class of visa is being applied for you. You cannot go out as a worker on a tourist visa. Once that visa expires, that is how you end up being an illegal migrant. Some of the implications of such is once your visa has expired in a certain country, they start accruing fines, and these fines accrue interest as well, which also becomes a burden to figure out how to clear these fines on your behalf. Back to the question that Madam Ruth has asked. So you're somewhere and you have not reached your family member who is out there in the diaspora, and you would like assistance on how to know where they are. You take advantage of what we call the State Department for Diaspora Affairs. Unfortunately, we are not devolved, we are not in the counties. So depending on your location, I would advise that number one, you take advantage of your local administration, take advantage of your chiefs, take advantage of your DOs. They do send us letters to communicate the concern that the family has. We use this communication to reach out to our respective stations abroad, and we request them through their networks to try and trace our Kenyans so that they are able to communicate to their families. In issues of distress, the most common nature that we get are labor disputes, where we liaise with the labor attaches, as Madam Irene had said, who are also present in the missions. However, I would advise any potential migrant or any potential employee who is here, when you're leaving the country, kindly share information with your family members. Please share your passport numbers with your family members. When you're leaving and you have your contract, as Madam Monisa has said, kindly share a copy of that as well with your family members. When you come to our offices, these are some of the things we ask for. For example, your passport number becomes your identifier once you leave the borders of this country. We will not be able to trace you with your national ID number. However, we will use your passport number through various immigration stations just to trace which were your points of entry, which were your points of exit. This helps us determine where you are. It will be easier for us to trace you. The relevance of you sharing your contract with your family as well is because, as it has been said here, a contract is a legally binding document. On this contract, there will be details of your employer, there will be details of where your employer is.
Elizabeth, please finalize.
And where
We're running short of time.
And where the agent's offices are. This helps our labor attaches follow the correct legal channels towards assisting you in your areas of distress. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, panelists, for work well done. I don't know whether we can get 5 minutes for MC so that we pick questions. So I'll start, somebody to assist me move the mic. I'll go row by row. We'll pick all the questions. Then we'll answer all of them. We'll try as much as possible to be representative as possible. So I start here. Oh, we start there. Okay. If you have a question, kindly raise up your hand, or you can write it to us. You can write it and pass to the people in front there, where the mic is, to the person holding the mic. I think that side is not ready. I have somebody this side, one hand there. Any other hand here? Because once I move, I'm moving. Okay, please go on.
Afternoon. I'm Patrick, student in Embu University, and I have a question, 3 questions. About the loans that you said we pay in an equivalent to 1 month's salary. What do you mean by that? Is it like, for example, you take you have earned the first month's salary. Will you pay all of them in that institution? The second question is about, for example, I have a work then, for example, in Germany, and I need to have maybe a leave out. Can I get a leave out to come to Kenya and greet either my parents for maybe 2 months, 3 months, then I go back to work? Then the last question is about if now you are earning your income in foreign country, and now you decide to settle there as you are now new home, can you be given any permission to pick your parents back from your country and go live with them there where you work? Thank you.
Thank you so much for the 3 questions. So I'm done with this side. Thank you so much, this side. I'm here. I have 2 hands. One here in front, one there behind. And I will be done. Thank you. Those 2. Yes, please. This person here and the guy in front, the lady behind.
Yeah, I'm Nicod. My name is Nicodemus Nyaki. I have 3 questions. First, is this State Department of Diaspora Affairs? Instead of going and roaming around in diaspora, why don't you make that service digital? Or you bring it in Kenya, where instead of going applying those hizo vitu huko, unazileta huku Kenya, tuna apply Kenya, ukienda huko, you know you are more safe. Second question, we as youths, as we are applying jobs, the one requirement that kill our hearts, because when applying a job, in that piece of requirement, you get there is a job experience. As you are going to the diaspora, is there any requirement that experience is needed? And madam, for the labor, hiyo kitu we as youths tunaweza omba tutolewe kama it's a constitutional requirement, tutolewe kwa constitution juu it kills our heart.
Asante sana Nicodemus.
I have the last
wrap
question
up
to Mr. Kiptum. Many youths attend go to NYS. What are the ways, as today we are talking about jobs in diaspora? Many youths you have taught, now they are outside with us. How can you do to help a certain percentage to secure jobs in diaspora? Thank you.
Okay, asante sana. Before the mic moves, the first question, because I need to get it clear. Which things? You said that this diaspora, why don't you make the services digital? Those things, could you kindly elaborate? Which things are these so that you get the right answer?
Okay, Madam saying that there's some requirements that we should fill in order to locate where the person is working, in order to trace where the person is working for the security purposes.
Thank you so much. I now get it. Okay. Behind there, one hand, and then inside the booth.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Please say your name and say your questions. Thank you.
My name's Christine Mutonga from County. And my question goes to, okay, I'm kind of stranded a bit as per the course that I undertook, which is a diploma in food science and processing technology, which is, yani watu wengi hawajui what it is all about. And when I go through the website, napata there is no job related to that course. So how do I...
How do you get assistant? You
Yeah.
have another question? Thank you.
Thank
you,
you.
Christine. Okay. Then we move beyond. That is the last question. Please, my panelists, get ready. We share the questions.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon.
My name is Nicholas from Nyeri, Madenge Tech, former student. And my questions are two. I want to bring them on board. First one is, I will describe it. Many are the names that have been registered there at the registration desk. And very, very, very many questions, but very, very many names. But my question is, and my concerns, and it concerns too many. Can we be promised that once an opportunity comes, we are treated as a priority? Because definitely that's the concern of each and every one of us who attended this press. There are some of us, this is the second question, there are some of us, example myself, who are on other professions, but I am skilled with a certain course. My question is, can I, or can we, on behalf of many, stay alert that